Bonjour, we are here today to start another lecture in the second part of course 2. Today we will be talking about time, how to tell the time and how to ask for the time. Alright, so let's get started. Quelle heure est-il? What time is it? I will repeat this. Quelle heure est-il? Quelle heure est-il? Quelle heure est-il? Now say it with me. Quelle heure est-il? Say it again. Quelle heure est-il? What time is it? Quelle heure est-il? Il est minuit. Il est minuit. It is midnight. Please note the way the French write time because it is different from the way that we write it in English. Il est minuit. And you see they write it in digits or in numbers as 0000. Il est minuit. It is midnight. Now please try to say this with me. Il est minuit. Minuit. Il est minuit. If it is noon, the clock will show the same time. But they write it as 12.00. And they say for noon, midi. So they will say, il est midi. Il est midi. Please say this again. Il est midi. Very nice. Quelle heure est-il? You've learned this in the earlier slide, but I would like you to repeat this with me once. Quelle heure est-il? Il est 1h03. This means it is 1:03 a.m. as is shown in the clock in this slide. Please note the way they write in French, whether it is in digits or whether it is in words. So they will write il est 1h03. They write il est 1h03 with an H. So it's 01H03. Il est 1h03. This means that it is, and I will repeat, 1:03 a.m. If this happens to be showing the time in the afternoon, they will say il est 13h03. Il est 13h03. Please repeat this with me. Il est 13h03. Very good. Quelle heure est-il? Quelle heure est-il? Il est 2h10. It is 2:10 in the morning, which means 2:10 a.m. or middle of the night. Il est 2h10. Il est 2h10. Now please repeat with me. Il est 2h10. One more time. Il est 2h10. Now if this happens to be in the afternoon, then French will say il est 14h10. Il est 14h10. Please say this with me. Il est 14h10. Il est 14h10. Very good. Now we go to the next slide. Quelle heure est-il? Quelle heure est-il? Il est 3 heures. It is 3 a.m. Il est 3 heures. Please say this with me. Il est 3 heures. If it happens to be in the afternoon, in French we say il est 15 heures. Il est 15 heures. Il est 15 heures. Please say it with me once. Il est 15 heures. Say it again. Il est 15 heures. The next slide. Quelle heure est-il? You see the wristwatch showing 4:25. If it is at night or early morning, that means 4:25 a.m. In French, we say il est 4h25. Il est 4h25. Please say this with me now. Il est 4h25. Il est 4h25. If this happens to be in the afternoon, the French will say il est 16h25. Il est 16h25. Please say this with me again. Il est 16h25. Please say this again. Il est 16h25. Very nice. Now we come to the next slide. Quelle heure est-il? What time is it? Il est 5h30. It is 5:30 a.m. or it is 5:30. But it is 5:30 a.m. It's in early morning. So, il est 5h30. Either you can say il est 5h30 to say 5:30, or if you want to say half past, you will say il est 5h30. For 5:30, you will say il est 5h30. Please say this again. Il est 5h30. How will you say it is 5:30 a.m.? Il est 5h. Please say this with me. How will you say it is 5:30 a.m.? Il est 5h30. Please say this with me. Il est 5h30. Il est 5h30. If you want to say 5:30, you will say il est 5h30. Please say this again. Il est 5h30. One more time. Il est 5h30. But if it is 5:30 in the evening, in French, we would say il est 17h30. It is 5:30 p.m. Il est 17h30. Il est 17h30. Can you say this with me, please? Il est 17h30. One more time. Il est 17h30. It is 5:30 p.m. Or if you want to say it is 5:30 in the evening, you would say il est 17h30. Again, il est 17h30. I would like you to repeat this again. Il est 17h30. One more time. Il est 17h30. Et demi means half past. The next slide shows 6:08 p.m. Let's go through this slide. Quelle heure est-il? Quelle heure est-il? Il est 6h08. Il est 6h08. Please say this with me. Il est 6h08. It is 6:08 in the morning. So it is 6:08 a.m. Il est 6h08. But if this was showing p.m., that means 6 p.m., we would say il est 18h08. Il est 18h08. One more time. Il est 18h08. Okay. Next slide. Quelle heure est-il? Il est 7h45. It is 7:45 a.m. Please note the different ways of saying this in French. Il est 7h45. Please say this again. Il est 7h45. Il est 7h45. Please say this again with me once. Il est 7h45. Il est 7h45. Il est 7h45. Let's try to say this together. Il est 7h45. One more time. Il est 7h45. Very good. You can also say this as il est 8h moins le quart. What this means is it is 7:45. Il est 8h, it is 8 o'clock, moins minus. Le quart means the quarter. So it is 1/4 less than 8. Okay. So il est 8h moins le quart. Let's try to say this together. Il est 8h moins le quart. One more time. Il est 8h moins le quart. One last time. Il est 8h moins le quart. Good. Now let's try to say this a little faster. Il est 8h moins le quart. Il est 8h moins le quart. Very good. Now if this was showing the time in the evening, the French would say il est 19h45. Il est 19h45. Il est 19h45. Or, il est 20h moins le quart. Il est 20h moins le quart. Now let's try to say these two sentences separately first. Please say it with me. Il est 19h45. Il est 19h45. Very good. Now say this a little faster. Il est 19h45. I repeat. Il est 19h45. Very good. Now we move to the next sentence, which was Il est 20h moins le quart. Please note the T is not pronounced. Il est 20h moins le quart. Il est 20h moins le quart. Now, try to put this sentence together. Il est 20h moins le quart. Moins le quart. Il est 20h moins le quart. Very good. We come to the next slide. Quelle heure est-il? Il est 8h04. It is 8:04 a.m. Il est 8h04. Il est 8h04. Please say this with me. Il est 8h04. One more time. Il est 8h04. Very good. But if this was showing the time in the evening, the French would say il est 20h04. Il est 20h04. Now say this with me. Il est 20h04. One more time. Il est 20h04. Very good. Go to the next slide. Quelle heure est-il? Il est 9h40. I repeat, il est 9h40. Now try and say this with me. Il est 9h40. One more time. Il est 9h40. Very good. But this means that this is showing time in the morning. You can have the same time at night. What happens in this case? When it becomes 9:40 p.m., the French would say il est 21h40. Il est 21h40. One more time. Il est 21h40. Again. Il est 21h40. Or, there is another way of saying this. They could say it is 20 to 10. Il est 22h, that's 10, moins, minus, 20, 20. Il est 22h, moins 20. I would like you to repeat with me, please. Il est 22h, moins 20. Again, il est 22h, moins 20. Very good. Now we go to the next slide. Quelle heure est-il? Quelle heure est-il? Il est 10h50. Il est 10h50. I repeat, il est 10h50. Now please repeat with me. Il est 10h50. This means it is 10:50 a.m. in the morning. Il est 10h50. One last time. Il est 10h50. But if this were showing the time in the evening, which is 10:50 p.m., what would we say? We would say, il est 22h50. Il est 22h50. Now, please say this again. Il est 22h50. Il est 22h50. Okay. But you can also say it is 10 to 11. Right? So in French, we would say il est 23h moins 10. Il est 23h moins 10. It is 11 p.m. minus 10 minutes. So il est 23h moins 10. It is 10 to 11. Il est 23h moins 10. Okay, now we'll try and say this together. Il est 23h moins 10. One last time. Il est 23h moins 10. One more time. Il est 23h moins 10. Quelle heure est-il? Il est 11h45. It is 11:45 a.m. Il est 11h45. I will repeat. Il est 11h45. But we can also say it is a quarter to 12. So we would say il est midi. Remember, midi is noon. Il est midi moins minus le quart is a quarter. So it is quarter to 12, or in this case quarter to noon, because this is during the day. Il est midi moins le quart. Il est midi moins le quart. Say it with me once. Il est midi moins le quart. One more time. Il est midi moins le quart. Excellent. Now, had this clock been showing the time in the evening, in French, we would say il est 23h45. Il est 23h45. I will say this again. Please repeat with me. Il est 23h45. Il est 23h45. Or if it is a quarter to midnight, because it's at night, this is 11:45 p.m., we could say il est minuit moins le quart. Il est minuit moins le quart. Please say this with me. Il est minuit moins le quart. Il est minuit moins le quart. Excellent. And that brings us to the end of this lecture, where we do a small recap. What have we learned? We have learned how to tell the time in French, and we have learned how to ask for the time in French. Quelle heure est-il? And then we know how to say the time, whether it is AM or whether it is PM. Thank you for paying attention, and look forward to meeting you at the next lecture.